It's so easy to think of posture as just that posture, something physical, something that we just adjust at our desk or in a yoga class and then forget. But maybe it's a chance to stop racing and start showing up from a quiet place of confidence. Welcome to the HAUS podcast, your go to space where design, cognitive sciences, well being, and business come together. I'm your host, Monica Costa, and today you're tuning into a well being capsule where we slow down, reconnect, and explore science backed insights to support your everyday life. This podcast is powered by HAUSens, born from its mission to guide designers in creating spaces for well being grounded in cognitive sciences principles. Let's dive in. It's amazing how something as simple as the way we stand or sit can shape the way we see ourselves and the world around us. Lately, I've been learning about this firsthand because a few months ago, I started working with a physiatrist and an osteopath because I was tired of the constant back pain that came after even the simplest workout. Lumbago, they called it, though it felt like more than just a word. It felt like a warning from my body. And actually, this reminds me of this morning. One neighbor told me, "You only get one back for your whole life." And I started paying attention to that. Little did I know the eye opening shift I'd get from it in my silent pursuit of chasing better alignment or flow. I honestly didn't expect how quickly those adjustments and subtle corrections started shifting my pain, but also my entire mindset. I'm walking taller, and honestly, I feel more grounded. Like I can see possibilities instead of problems. I'm sitting up straighter and it feels like my thoughts follow. I'm more focused, more clear. And if I tell you the truth, it amazes me because I'd always thought of mindset as something you build from the inside out through reflection, meditation, or willpower. But what I'm learning now is that it goes both ways. How you show up physically, how you stand, how you breathe, or how you hold yourself shapes how you show up mentally. And I see it now. More than posture, it's presence. It's the quiet physical foundation that can open up spaces in your mind or close it off without you even realizing. And today I want to explore that, how the body shapes the mind, and why this connection is more powerful than we've ever thought to believe. It's fascinating to realize just how much our posture does for us. Because what we're talking about isn't just about sitting straight or standing tall for aesthetic reasons. It's about what's happening under the hood in our brains. And what's even more interesting is how research actually tested it. How they brought in groups of people, gave them small tweaks like opening their chest, sitting upright, or even holding a gentle power pose, and then measured what shifted in their feelings, their cognition, and their actual hormonal levels, showing us that actually these are things that we can test and feel in real time. Like the classic study by Riskine and Gotay back in 1982, what they did was they asked participants to adopt either a slouched, closed off posture, like curling toward a desk, or an upright, expansive posture, like shoulders back and chest open. And after just a few minutes of holding those shapes, participants filled out mood and confidence scales. And what they found was striking. Those sitting upright felt more positive, more confident, and more engaged, while those who were slouched reported feeling more unsure, more withdrawn, reminding us that even a tiny shift in how we hold ourselves can instantly change how we think and feel. Then there was that 1993 study by Cachopa and colleagues where participants pushed or pulled levers in time with images on a screen, pushing away on a kind of no thanks posture or pulling in an I want this action. And the results showed that our physical movements of pushing or pulling didn't just move the objects, they moved perception. Let me explain. What happened was that people saw neutral images as more positive when they pulled and more negative when they pushed, an embodied demonstration of how movement shapes meaning in our brain. And another research in Carnicuddy and Yap in 2010, they took it one step further inviting participants to adopt what they call a high power pose, like standing with arms outstretched or legs firmly planted, versus low power poses, like curling in and tucking arms close. And then they measured saliva for cortisol and testosterone, finding that these expansive poses lowered stress hormones and boosted confidence hormones, physically, not just mentally. Though follow ups did show that hormonal changes are debated, as we will talk about it in a minute, the subjective sense of power remains a robust finding. And I love how O'Toole and Michalak in 2024 built on this. They had participants adopt these upright positive postures while doing cognitive reframing exercises, like rethinking negative thoughts. And they saw that, yes, posture alone didn't magically erase stress, but it gave people easier access to more positive memories, more flexible thinking, like posture as a lever to shift what we can reach for mentally when we're stuck in a loop. These studies structured every piece of it, giving people a chance to try on a posture, then checking in with how they felt, or even pulling biological data from saliva and skin conductance, building a layered picture of how posture, movement, and mindset feed each other. Like in the 2018 work by Lucas and Porge, who paired posture with slow, deep breathing, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, and found that when you sit tall and breathe slow, your heart rate variability improves, your vagus nerve signals calm, and you feel a little more steady, a little more at home in your body. And then there's something else that always makes me smile because it's so small but so powerful. The facial feedback hypothesis, tested in 1988 by Strack, Martin, and Stepper, where participants held a pen in their teeth, forcing a kind of a smile, and then rated cartoons. And those who were smiling, even if only because of the pen, found that cartoons were funnier, as if the small physical smile told the brain, hey, it's okay to feel a bit lighter here. But careful, because this effect can happen the other way. Because frowning, like when you scrunch your forehead and narrow your eyes, has been shown to nudge mood in the opposite direction, making people feel more negative or more tense. Not because of what they're thinking, but because of what their face is telling the brain at that moment. And that's something I see in myself too. How unclenching my jaw or lifting my head up, even just a bit, can turn a moment of stress into something softer, something that feels more like a little relief. And if you're wondering how quickly it can shift, there's Kelly Leach's 2023 study where she found that even micro checks like unclenching your jaw or rolling your shoulders back for just 1 or 2 minutes start to rewire that baseline tension we carry without even realizing it, helping you downshift from stress to more openness in real time. What this all adds up to, and what I'm seeing in my own life, is that posture is not passive, it's active. It's a way of talking to our nervous system, telling it, hey, we're safe, we're steady. And these tiny experiments, like when you're at your desk and realize you're slumping forward, or when you're about to give a talk and you square your shoulders back for breath, they add up. They reshape not just how you're seen, but how you see the world. So here's what I'm finding and what you might want to try too. Next time you're feeling anxious or like your mind is spinning, pause, place your feet flat on the ground, let your spine get tall, let your chest open just a little, and take a slow, deep breath. Because these posture cues are like flipping switches in the brain. They open new ways of feeling, thinking, and engaging. And you don't need a lab or fancy tool to try it out. Just you, your body, and the willingness to see what happens. And yes, I love this information because it's very exciting. How posture shapes mindset, how these tiny physical shifts can bring a little more calm or focus. It's very interesting, but it also has some nuances. So for me, it's also important to mention that these effects are not universal. They're real, but they're also subtle. And they depend a lot on context and personal history. For example, those early studies by Riskin and Gauthier in 1982 and the facial feedback experiments by Strack in 1988 found that posture and facial expressions can shift how we feel in the moment. But newer work, like the Many Smiles collaboration in 2022, showed that the effect of smiling alone is small and depends on the person and the situation. So if you try this and don't feel huge change, you're not doing it wrong. You're just experiencing how these things play out uniquely for you. And the same goes for power posing, because while Carney, Cuddy, and Yabs in 2010 showed that subjective feelings of confidence follow after standing tall, later replications found that hormonal shifts like lower cortisol are not as reliable. And don't get me wrong, don't get disappointed because this doesn't mean that posture doesn't matter. It does. The thing is that it's one piece in a much bigger puzzle that includes sleep, nutrition, relationships, and chronic pain or trauma that might shape how you experience your body. For example, Kay Barthel's 2024 study suggests posture practice can improve decision making and emotional flexibility, but it's not a placement for deeper healing or support. It's more like a tool you can use in a moment to feel a little more centered. And that's what I think is most important. This isn't about finding perfect posture or a quick fix. It's about listening to your body, noticing how these small adjustments land for you, and knowing you can always adapt or skip them if they don't feel supportive right now. Because what the science is really saying is that posture can be a quiet tool, an invitation, not a prescription to find a little more ease and presence in how you move through the world. So here's your challenge right here and right now, because I'd love for you to try this with me in real time. However, you are right now, see if you can feel your feet on the floor. See if you can let your spine grow a little taller. Roll your shoulders back, softening them just a bit, and let a deep breath fill you up in a way that feels more open and more ready. And just notice how the tiny shift changes your energy, your focus, your whole vibe, even just for 1 second. And remember, you're not looking for the perfect posture or forcing anything. You're playing with how you feel in your body right now and seeing how it can support your mind, your mood, your present moment. And then I'd love for you to make it a little daily experiment. Every time you remember, pause, check in with how you're sitting or standing, breathe a little deeper, stretch or open just a bit, and see how that changes things for you. Because I promise you, far from small gestures, these are ways to come back to yourself, to find a little more calm, a little more steadiness, a little more of that feeling that you're right here, in your own skin, ready for whatever's next. And honestly, I suggest you take it as an experiment, an exploration, and listen to how your body wants to show up for you. Let these tiny posture resets be your reminder that your body and mind are in conversation all the time. Your posture is a big doorway to shape how you feel, how you think, and how you show up in the world. Each small shift on how you hold yourself can be a doorway back to calm, clarity, and a more centered way of being. If this episode opened something up for you, I'd love you to share it with someone who might be ready to see their mind as part of their personal design process too. Remember to hit that like and follow button to keep the conversation going every Tuesday. And as always, thank you for being here. Stay well, stay curious, and keep designing your life with intention. See you next time.